Hello. In my search for a superior signalling system that doesn't require complicated computer programming, computer screen setup, or basically centralized control, I want a very decent automatic system. And now I've come across Azatrax, and I very kindly spoke to John at Azatrax, and he sent me some modules while I was in the States. This is the TS2-D. So the TS system comes in various flavors. TS2 is for single track double direction operation, which is very common. It's what a lot of you will have. I don't have that because I don't want loop issues on either side of my dog bone. This is the TS2-D. So this is meant for a double track operation, as in one side one way, one side the other way. There's a TS3, which is a junction signal system, 2 tracks into one. And then there's the top of the range TS5, which I've got on order. And I believe that can do multi-directional signaling plus junction signaling. And I do have a crossover, so I will need to do that. Plus, you can add another path onto it, and it does a whole lot more. That's the top of the range one. So I thought I'd have a quick look at the TS2 or TS2-D as this one is, see how easy it is to set up. If you've seen my other video, the one about the old Atlas system, it did work. It was not so simple to set up, but it did work. Let's see how easy this is to set up and what sort of results we get. So Azatrax will work on DCC as well as DC. I'm just testing on DC for simplicity. I've plugged my test signal in, which is a 3-color searchlight. Very, very simple, because here it tells you this is obviously designed for 2 sets of detectors and 2 signals, because you've got one going one way, one going the other way. So I've plugged that in. The power is connected from the accessory port, and again I've checked that the power is not too much or too little for this, so it won't blow it. And if I turn this on, what I'm expecting to see according to the instructions is, if no block detection is enabled, which it isn't because the detectors are here, we've got an infrared transmitter and an infrared receiver pair, then what the signal should do, the signal should go to yellow or amber straight away. So if we plug this in, because it doesn't know where everything is, so if we plug this in, then we'll see what we get. Okay, so the transmitting and receiving westbound and eastbound flashes, and you can see a very nice amber light. Now that won't ever change because there's no detection enabled as yet. What we're going to do now, we're going to plug the infrared in, and this is very easy to plug in. You press down on these terminals and just put the wire in. So that's really, really nice feature. So we'll plug them in and we'll see what happens. Okay, I've got my infrared transmitter and receiver pair plugged in. Let's see what happens when we power this up. So again, you get the sensors flashing, and it's detected. So a good thing about this is when it's detected, it will show you on the board. Now what I suspect is happening here is because basically there's light all around this room, so it's detected the light, not from the actual transmitter. So I should be able to block that off. Signal originally went red, and now because it has no more signals to detect, in other words it's not daisy chained yet, it should go into timed mode. So now that's gone amber. I've set this up for 4 aspect operation, and I'll talk about that in a minute. That should now go to flashing amber, and then eventually green. Lovely, there's a very nice green there. So, and the moment that detects, that should drop to red there. So at the moment this isn't daisy chain. The whole point of a system like this is you want one that can daisy chain, so you can get really effective signal control. Now this has exceeded all my expectations. You get some really, really good instructions with it. This shows you all the types of signal it can handle, which is I mean, you can download these off the internet, it's all there anyway, but it's pretty impressive. It can even deal with these pesky bi-colour LEDs, which I don't particularly like, but I do have some of those. But the very, very impressive thing is two things really. The infrared receiver and transmit can be set up in different ways. So you can either have them under the track, which I really don't want to do, or you can have them going across the track, which I do want to do, and I will experiment with that probably in a later video. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is the amount of aspects this thing can display is really impressive. So basically you can do a hell of a lot more than the 4 aspect which I just showed you. Plus there's a really nice benefit as well. The Pennsylvania signals here have a marker light at the top. It's supposed to be lunar white, I believe, same as in the UK, the same colour we use for our feather indicators. And because you're not going to use that for most of the time, what you can actually do, if I can find the page, which I cannot, is you can actually set up a second head. So you can have a second signal head set up that uses the marker light output. So that's really cool. So the next test will be to daisy chain a couple of these together and ensure that it does, I mean I've only got 2 at the moment, and ensure that it does the daisy chaining of a signal. So if one goes red, the previous one should be amber, or the one in front should be green. We'll check that. And here's the piece of the instructions I actually missed, where it shows you if you don't have the marker light, you can actually use this for a second head. And as another bonus, you can in fact use that as a junction signal in a certain way, which is absolutely brilliant, because I thought this was just a simple directional system, but actually TS2-D and probably the TS2 as well, you can use those extra aspects to signal a diverging route, which is absolutely brilliant. Okay, I've now got 2 TS2-Ds connected to each other with their linkages cables. One is detecting, one is not, although they should obviously both be detecting. And what that gives us is this. We have the caution aspect there and the stop aspect there. I think I can't clear the stop aspect because the trainer's literally got nowhere to go. So you can see this isn't in timed mode because they're not changing aspects, they're not flickering through all the aspects to get to green, so they actually are linked together. So a proper of another video I've done on the Atlas signaling system. I've actually repurposed that signal. It goes straight into the Azatrax board. It is fairly bright. So I've set up a little test here just to show the sensors actually working correctly. So this is across the track. Yes, I know it looks very clumsy, but it's just a test. So the system doesn't know where the train is at the moment, but then as soon as the train goes forward, clears the block, indicator light goes off here. And because the signal is not connected to any other signal, it goes through its cycle. Train comes back into the block. Signal goes red. It's very good. I would recommend it. It's very easy to set up, and also they're quite small. So there we go. Am I pleased with Azatrax? So far, looks absolutely great. I think in the future I'll do a test on the infrared aspect, because I'd like to try the difference between track mounted infrared and across the track infrared. But at the moment, this is about as far as I can go with it. I do need one more module, so I would recommend it. It's very easy to set up, and also they're quite small. So there we go.